So on Tuesday, we took a look at the world, okay? And we looked at what happened when explorers from this side of the world traveled across the Atlantic Ocean and discovered that this side of the world was there because they did not know that at the time, okay? And then they brought back all sorts of information about what was there, information to make new maps, information about what resources there were. So once they find these lands, then what happens? I mean, more people come over to explore and to see what's there, but then what? So once you know what's there, what do you do? So a lot of these countries, when they came over, they found resources, things that they wanted. They were originally looking for spices in Asia. There weren't a lot of spices here, but what they did find was different types of food, different types of animals, lumber, minerals, other natural resources. And so they said, hey, this is some good stuff. This stuff can help us out in our country back here, and it can potentially make us rich. So what do we do? So Spain had sent Columbus. He lands about over here, okay? And then other Spanish explorers spread out and started exploring Central, South America, and the bottom part of North America. And they say, hey, there's some good stuff here. There's lots of land. Spain's only this big. We don't have a lot of land over here. There's more land. We can spread out. There's resources here. We can grow things here. We can send people to live here. So basically what Spain does is they take over this area and they make what's called a colony, okay? So a colony is basically, and they start to spread out and their colony gets even bigger and they end up taking most South America over. So they create a colony. What a colony is this area of land somewhere else that is owned and controlled by another country. Okay, so the country of Spain, right here, is going to go over and take over this land. They're going to take over some more down here. It takes over some there. And they're going to create a colony. And because they're very creative, they're going to call that colony New Spain. That's a joke. They're not creative. Okay, so they say that they own that land, but that's a lot of land for a country way across the ocean to control. Well, that's why they need to send people to their colony to live there and help control it for them. So people to grow stuff and send it back to Spain. People to cut down lumber and send it back to Spain. People to mine silver and other minerals and send that back to Spain. Okay? So they need people to do that. So they send them over to their colony. And in the colony, they build what's called a settlement. Okay? So think of a settlement. I'm going to put a picture of a house because they need to build little towns and cities that they're going to send some Spanish people over to rule and control for the country that they come from. Now, there's all sorts of other complicated things here because there's already Native Americans here. So when they're taking over this land, they are now also trying to make the Native Americans part of their colony, and they're trying to rule the Native Americans. And if that doesn't work, then they are going to fight them and take over their land. And so when that happens, in order so that those people don't fight back, or to protect their land from people when they fight back and try to get their land back, they have to send people to live there, people to control it, people who are loyal to Spain, people who are going to help fight off the Native Americans so that they don't take their land back. But there's a ton of land here, and Spain can't control every inch of it. So it ends up being that there's cities controlled by the Spanish, and there's still plenty of places where there's Native Americans living, and they at times will clash and fight with each other. And there's lots of other complicated stuff that happens that we're not going to talk about right now. Okay? And so other countries do this. So France, they're going to send people, and they start exploring up here. And France creates a colony up here, New France. Again, not very creative names, all right? And they also send people over to make settlements and to build trading posts and trade with people there so that they can control their colony. And then England, okay, they're going to send people over, and they're going to take over land, and they're going to create a colony there. they're a little bit more creative. They use different names. They call part of it Virginia. They call part of it New England, which isn't very creative. And those are the English colonies. So, and then the Dutch are going to send people over from the Netherlands, and they're going to take over some land around where New York is right now. And so all these European countries come over and start taking over land in North and South America and building colonies. So they take over the land, that becomes their colony, and they send people to live there in settlements to help control their colonies.